Yes, please. He did?
Yeah.
He's not done. He's not done with his homework. Yeah. Like scan it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me one.
Well, yeah, I can put that up in the front, so he's on that first. Signature, please. Thank you.
Welcome. Calls meeting to order.
Adams,
Here.
Bridgeford. Here. Hamilton,
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Peckney. The Open Meetings Act is on the east wall.
Okay. All right. Before we get started, we have a quick little presentation for Lisa. Don't act all upset. It's all right.
I totally forgot.
Oh yeah. Emergency. You can stand front and center at the podium if you don't
Make a
mind.
speech.
Kevin, you got a little something for us?
Well,
What are you doing?
You
you're at the podium.
Yep.
No, it's not often that people work 20 years in one place anymore. And so I want to congratulate Lisa on 20 years. I appreciate your vision and leadership here. I know that you spurred on and inspired many children through all the things that you've done and the things that you've brought to this library. So we appreciate how you've grown it and the impact it's going to have for future generations. So thank you for your service here.
Yes, absolutely. So in recognition of 20 years of service, your passion for learning and commitment to public service has made the library a cornerstone of the community and inspired countless families. So thank you. If you want to come on up here, you get to take a little quick picture.
Yeah, I
You're
didn't.
looking marvelous.
Totally forgot to scan up right over like dressed up.
Yeah. Exclusive.
I was like, is anyone?
No,
I
no,
appreciate it.
no.
Let's assume Kevin do it.
Right, well,
Thank you.
it's a pleasure. We've come a long way and, we've got a lot to do still, so.
Awesome. Thank you.
Done my job.
Approval of consent agenda. We got March 9th, 2026 city council meeting minutes, March 2026 bills paid, Keno receipts for March totaling $9,007.02. We have our Friday, April 26th, 2026 Arbor Day proclamation. And then JEO consulting invoices. Looks like we have 4 there. We have a motion to approve.
Lee,
Yes.
Bridgeford,
Yes.
Hamilton.
Yes.
All right. Item number 3, we have our audit report. Mr. Tim Lens, creative planning.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thanks for having me this evening. Just give you some brief comments over the audit report. I, with Bergen KDV, we performed the audit over the September 30, 2025 financial statements as I'm assuming it's in your packet. Those are on the cash basis of accounting. So when you're comparing those to prior years, just keep that in mind that just timing differences of cash receipts and cash disbursements will cause some of those fluctuations. I'll point out a few of those in my presentation. But overall, pages 1 through 3 of that packet is our audit report. We're given an unmodified opinion over those financial statements in accordance with standards, and government accounting standards. Following that, you get into your government-wide financial statements on page 6 and 7. So that looks at the city as a whole. So you want to see the cash position of the city as a whole, look at that. Obviously, it does not include any long-term liabilities or any liabilities or receivables at that. Following that, you get into your fund financial statements. You guys all adopt a budget based on the fund level. And those can be found on pages 8 and 9. And that'll just break down kind of the balance sheet of what cash and investments exist as of September 30, as well as then the change of the cash and investments. Following that gets into the notes to the financial statements on page 11, following through page 19. That just gives you a little bit more narrative to those numbers, a little bit more detail. It does highlight some of the long-term assets, long-term liabilities of the city, talking about the capital assets and the debt that the city has. Following the notes, you get into your budget financial statement, which is just comparing your adopted budget for the 24-25 fiscal year compared to the actual results. What that shows is that the city complied with the adopted budget that you guys all adopted for that fiscal year. So no compliance issues there. Following that, you get into the supplemental schedules, which provides just a little bit more detail of those basic financial statements. Our second report is our report over compliance and internal controls over financial reporting. Similar to prior years, just due to the size of the city, we have a segregation of duties finding there. Just something for you guys all to be aware of, that there is a risk with just having limited amount of people. You can't segregate duties completely. So you do have conflicting duties. It's not that we had findings or anything, but just something for you to be all to be aware of. So also we issued a just required communications that we had to have with you all. No injurious issues in that report. Just required communications of kind of the scope of the audit and your responsibilities over the financial statements. What the basic financial statements for the year ending September 30, 2025 show is that the city's cash position increased by $195,000. Lots of variables fluctuating in there. Some of the big items, property taxes increased $62,000. Over the last 4 years, you've had decreases in your levy of anywhere between 5 and 8%. So we keep driving that down, but valuations keep increasing. So pretty flat year over year there. Sales tax increased about $243,000 year over year. Again, timing there, and then also just increased business within the city's jurisdiction. Sewer fees revenue is up, but that's offset by increase in sewer expense when you pay that out. So a couple of the large revenue items that decreased this year compared to 2024, it relates to donations. You have your large contribution from the soccer club, and prior year shared park costs that were in the 2024 financial statements. 2025 expenses were up 274,000 compared to the year prior. A lot of it's related to budgeted increases in salaries. Obviously, you have Kevin on hand as the city administrator in this fiscal year here. So there's a couple of the drivers there. Capital outlay, you have your large Neurmeyer Park project in 2024. So there's significant decrease there year over year. And then in these financial statements, it'll reflect paying down debt of just over $1 million, but you issued 955,000 of debt. So pretty much an offset there. Any questions on the financial statements?
None from me.
I appreciate allowing me to help you guys. Love working with Mindy and Tina and Kevin now, and yeah, happy to help with anything you guys need in the future. Next time, thank you.
Item number 4, street closure and event application for Bennington Days Beer Garden and Dance on Saturday, June 6th from 6 a.m. to Sunday, June 7th at 1 a.m. on South 2nd Street from Molly to Stark Streets. And then parade on Saturday, June 6th from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Bennington Road from 168 to Allen Streets.
So, do I have to come up there?
Yeah, yes, please.
Okay. Hey, Alicia Weaver, I'm actually the next one, even though it says Nikki, so
There's
she's
Nick.
right here. So I do have a couple questions on Bennington Days portion. So where Nikki has Bennington Road closed from 168 to Allen. So right here on 156, all of my vendors have to go park. I've already gotten approval from Bennington Elementary. So they're gonna be coming between the hours of 6:30 and 8:15-ish in the morning.
Okay.
And they need to go to the Bennington Elementary parking lot to the very back side of that. We have over 115 vendors that are gonna be doing that.
Mhm.
Am I good with this, or do I need to talk to Nikki to coordinate that piece?
I would talk with Nikki, yeah.
Okay. Because there is not another option. That's my only thing.
Yeah.
I've got to get to that parking lot with all the vendors.
Lane, do you know when?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. When we're starting to block off traffic for the parade, do we know what time we're gonna start doing that by chance? 9-ish. Yeah, probably a little bit before.
So as long as I have all of my vendors into that back parking lot by 8:30.
Yeah.
We're
Should be
fine.
fine.
And then
And then farmer's market goes past 12:30, correct?
it'll go till two this year.
Yeah, so.
So it'll just be the major influx of people.
Yep.
The farmers, you're not speaking on behalf of Bennington Days.
Nope,
Okay.
Nikki's not here for that, and I was just saying, I guess I was needing to know, Nikki and I were needing to know how we were gonna get across 156 and Bennington Road to that area.
Well, nothing has been submitted for the farmers market to the city. I did not receive anything.
Yes,
I
I did
so-
send it, so I sent you another email from my work email. It must have went to your junk, because I sent another email asking if you got it, but then I got the agenda, so I just assumed you got it.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of questions that haven't been answered as far as the farmers market is concerned. We had a meeting about
Yes,
some folks that needed to be,
yes, and that will be
Work
handled,
with-
we will work with Vacant, we'll push back the street. I have not had a chance to go to them yet, but I think you met with
I know
TNR.
TNR,
Yep, and then we plan to meet with everybody else for Bennington Days based off of warehouse and closing that down.
well, I know that they're very concerned. They've been in the office a couple of
Who,
times.
Vacant?
Yes.
we're not gonna even go in front of them, we're gonna skip right over them.
Well, they need some communication, for sure, and they haven't had any.
Okay.
I don't know whether I guess, I don't, I don't know where the parameters are of the farmer's market, and
Well, I
I
guess
don't-
I'll resend it to you and I guess we can back in May.
I think that that would be the best.
I'll be resend it, I'll be here.
We need voters' approval because if it's no, we have 115 vendors we're gonna have to turn away.
Until
What are
Bennington
you
days.
looking at closing off?
Well, we were for regular days, for our regular Saturdays.
Yeah.
We had gotten approval from Second all the
Right.
way up, Second.
What's the plan for Bennington days?
Now we have to divert because Bennington Days is going to be setting the stage up right away.
Okay.
And so now we need to divert that to warehouse, so Second to warehouse.
To go back behind Stumble and storage units.
Right.
Otherwise, we have to cancel the farmer's market for
Correct.
Bennington days.
So. If you want to come over here and point on the
Yep.
map what we're looking at.
Can I turn it?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Downtown.
Where's Second? Sorry.
This
Oh,
is
here's,
Second.
so it would be, that's not, Beer Garden is,
This is the park here. This is 156 here. This is warehouse.
yes. So we asked for approval for every Saturday from here up.
Yep.
But because this needs to get set up in the morning,
Yep.
we no longer get Second Street right here. And that's what I went to TNR for. And we were good, except for we couldn't go right in front of them, which we agreed on. But now I need
Wanna go down warehouse?
this, because I don't have any other option.
Walk in here.
From here
Okay.
down, yes. Okay, thank you.
This is just for the farmer's market.
Mhm.
Okay. You're wanting to go all the way down.
Warehouse, yes, you're correct.
From 156 down warehouse, ending behind Jada, or not Jada, excuse me,
Couple
Stumble.
Stumble. I
Yeah.
mean,
I would say probably right at CNC, I would say right around in there. We're gonna go walk it and verify where we're at with it.
We're gonna measure to see what we need for vendors wise. We obviously can't block off Stumble Inn's parking lot for
Right.
business for them.
Right,
And as far as Finkins, like, we won't put anybody in front of them. We will push it back if they don't want it in front of them, like we already
but
planned.
Three Timbers is gonna be opening in front of their stuff. They're in this year on doing some kids stuff. So they will have stuff going on in front of Three Timbers.
In the street,
Mhm.
but the street will
Well,
be
I don't know
open.
about, oh, no, I don't know about in the street. The street's not gonna be open.
Starting at 156.
You have to allow Finkins
To have people come
Okay.
to them.
for their customers to come in. They want access.
They would have to go around the.
The reason this is an issue is because they're setting up the stage.
The reason that we can't have Second Street is because they're gonna be putting the
Bringing-
dance
Yeah,
that day, only on the 6th. Otherwise, we're gonna go down that road for regular farmers markets.
they're bringing in the stage that morning, because they'll have to set up. They won't be able to get the trailer in.
That's not normal, right?
They normally bring it in after the parade,
Right.
but the parade route is changing. And
That's another separate issue that I'd like to discuss as well. It's makes zero sense for us to have a parade that doesn't go through our downtown.
well, and I think that's because with the farmer's market growing so much and all the people coming down for the farmer's market, we would have to cancel the farmer's market if the parade goes through because it's too much liability with kids running around the booths, even if we shut down vendors and stuff.
But it's an experience
Yeah,
that's done for years.
I know.
My family is so cool. They
Yeah.
enjoy it. And no offense, but how much revenue we're generating on the selling of bread. And that's not, that's
we-
not.
Sorry, I don't agree with
That's
that by
not
any
farmers-
means.
that's
They
not
are gonna
farmers
be
market.
visiting all of our vendors, all of our businesses downtown.
I'm more talking about from the parade.
I know.
Yeah.
And I get,
have
and
got
we
no
had a
problem with
discussion.
warehouse. You guys put out warehouse. That's
Yeah.
fine. I just shocked that we're setting up a stage a day early.
It's earlier that morning, they're doing it, yeah. And it's because they have to be able to get the trailer in to set up the snow fence and everything. And it's hard to doing that. We had a discussion on it, just with so many vendors and the liability. They opted to do that, otherwise we were gonna have to either move the farmer's market or cancel it for Bennington Days, and they didn't wanna do that.
Well, not only cancel the farmer's market, I think warehouse is great.
Yeah,
I'm talking more about a parade route. 156,
What makes this year different than any other year that we have to have a stage set up early?
I don't know, I was hoping this was gonna be.
That's the question, why do we have to do it that? Because what time does the band start?
There's a
they have to,
cornhole tournament, I
there's a
guess,
cornhole
too.
tournament, they block it in the afternoon for the beer garden, they start the beer garden in the afternoon.
Cornhole, and I think also the barbecue contest, isn't that also part of Bennington Days?
Yes.
it's all about the stage.
I think it's the stage and then the change of the route and stuff and getting it in.
So what is the new proposed route?
Just going up Bennington
160.
Road.
Going up Bennington Road from 168 down to Allen.
There's 0 sidewalks on either side.
There's sidewalk on my side, nothing on the other side.
It's gonna be shut off and everything like that, but we're talking about walking across people's yards.
Yeah.
Because we can fit a lot of people.
I know the chief and I and Kevin talked about giving them multiple parade route options. We gave them 3. One was starting where how we used to do it back in the day, which was starting on CW Hayden, coming down 156, then going out towards the high school. This option of going down Allen, and then I think the other option was high school and then going up north on 56. So, sounds like we have a lot of questions for the committee and Nikki in regards to the route itself.
But for item B, it's warehouse down behind Main Stumblein. By that, the flow.
For just Bennington Days.
For
and then the
just
rest-
Bennington
Just
Days, yep,
Yep,
just
and then
Bennington
to
Days.
take it up and
Yep, and then it would go up Second Street on all the other 7 Saturdays.
And I mean, I can resubmit and come back in May if needed.
I mean, it's fine with me. We'd have to leave. We wouldn't be able to close right at 156. We'd have to start it at wherever that business is.
Through the business,
What's the name of it? Or what were the folks?
sinking.
It's
Still long.
right across the street.
So that's what I would.
You mean go in, so like where downtown chiropractic is, start there?
Yeah.
Okay, who's gonna have the communication with Three Timbers that we can, I guess?
Can we use this for vegetable vendors?
In front of the city, that parking lot is
They just have a bigger setup.
Daniel's Produce.
It's fine with me. Anybody have any objections to?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do this.
But maybe if we get the stage thing addressed for item A. We'd be closing down the street. We're saying we have businesses that don't want to have the street closed down.
We have a business that that wants access to their to their business
Yeah.
During farmers markets. I don't know about Bennington Days. I don't know I mean, that's part of the farmers market. It's one of the days, obviously one of the more important days. But I know that it's their intention to be able to have complete access to their parking lot and their building
And I respect that, I understand
That's
that.
fine.
through all that.
I don't know what Bennington Days timeline is.
That obviously starts, the barbecue contest will
Oh,
start
yeah, it
early,
starts
like 6 in the
Like
morning.
they'd be able to go up Second Street anyway with that stuff going on.
We've always given
The farm,
it every
Well, I meant the farmer's market using,
Oh, yeah.
using second.
Yeah, and
But the
so we
parade,
also
yeah, it's
did
always gone
discuss
up.
that, the cornhole tournament starts and they have to set up the snow fence, so having vendors and stuff in there with that starting, it was
Yeah.
not going to work, because we did discuss that also.
I think we solved the vendors.
Yeah,
There's just this parade up. It's got a stage.
The route. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Thanks, ladies.
Thank
I
you.
got,
So-
I got a question. You're gonna have Bennington Road blocked off, South Second Street blocked off, warehouse blocked off. You got a lot of houses right there that can't get out anyway, if there's an emergency or something.
I would think that that would be something that Nikki's gonna have to address.
That'd be an item A issue.
That, I agree.
They're more of an item B.
Are you talking about like the apartments?
Anything on the back, anything in, because it's gonna be closed. Second
Warehouse and.
warehouse, Stark, Molly.
Yeah.
Between Bennington Road and that piece, yeah, which I
Yeah.
agree with Rock, yeah. That area, all those people need to be addressed by Nikki.
Yeah.
That area per se is going to be shut down per se from in the morning till the afternoon. Until the parade would be completely over and then our farmers could be over. I agree.
Too many Nickies.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Nikki with a C, Nikki with a K, that's I.
All right, thank you. If we have any questions about the farmer's
Would
market
you
stuff,
like me to resubmit for the farmer's market?
I think we could probably vote on it here. I'll throw in there from where to where, when we do vote on it, but we give some other folks some chance to talk
Okay.
about the route.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Merlin Kai, I'm a post commander for American Legion. Just wanted to tell you that we've always done the colors for decades. And they never quite tried to kill us off quite like they are this year, like thinking we have to walk up that hill. We already call people in cars that can't walk that far. And we usually come up with at least 6 Bennington people that will represent the color guard for the Legion and can walk the street. Last year, we had 1 drop out, so we ended up with 5 by the time we finished. So we just think it's silly to change a route like that. You come down here and go up Main Street, and everybody says, well, you can't even walk up there because you got vendors on both sides. We've had vendors on one side, all the cars and chairs and everything sitting there waiting to put the stage in after the parade is over on the other side of the street. And we've had room to walk up through the middle of the street. There's been John Deere tractors with their big dualies. Nobody's gotten splattered or run over by anybody, being too narrow for them. So I know the color guard can get through there, no problem. We also have a Miller color guard started coming out and doing it with us. And they said the main reason they came was it was level like their own, basically all except for the last little bit of a hill. And we promised them water or a glass of beer, whichever they wanted, if they went all the way up the hill. So they're planning on coming back, and I know they'd be very concerned about it too. There's nobody in any Legion clubs that are getting any younger. And we sure appreciate it if you can recognize us for that fact and bring it back down around here. Because we aren't gonna go past the corner. It's that simple. We'll have cars, a couple of convertibles, but you're not gonna see the colors flying like they should be. We might just walk our own path too. I don't want to be rude like that at all, but we're very strong about the changing the parade route. I'm not concerned with the beer garden or the dance and that sort of stuff. But I definitely want you to know that we appreciate it. We work for the community. We love the community. We want to keep doing as long as we can. That's all I have to say.
Thanks, man. Anybody else like to speak on the parade route?
I just don't see why we were changing the route. Every parade goes through downtown of the town. It just makes no sense. There's so many people and kids, lots of kids on both sides of the street.
Yeah.
On downtown.
Fortunately, Nikki's not here to
Yes,
defend the decision making, so I'm not entirely sure myself. So I think it might be something we want to table and get some questions answered from that committee. So, but I'm good with if you guys are making a motion to approve the farmers market starting on Warehouse Street after said business and extending down Warehouse Street to, what is that, Stark?
yes.
Motion to approve item B, farmers market with those changes.
So moved.
A second.
Bridgeford,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Table 4A, correct?
Correct. I didn't motion to table that. What was that part of it?
no, we should do
Okay.
that.
And motion to table item 4A.
So moved.
For A and B,
Yes.
No,
No,
That's it.
this day.
just table.
We just approved B.
did you approve the farmer's market?
Yes. Which is
Okay, so the Bennington Days has a beer garden and dance, which is item 1,
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Oh,
and then they have the parade, which is item 2. So do you want to table all of that?
Well, the beer garden and dance, the stage is what's impacting potential parade.
we should table.
Is that a motion?
Okay.
One and two. Second. Good here.
Richford,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hamilton.
Yes.
Item 5, 2026 Prairie Ridge Blight Study and declaration of the blight study area within the Bennington corporate limits as substandard and blighted pursuant to the Nebraska Community Development Law. The applicant here,
The applicant's here, just come on up, Brent, take it over. This came before the planning commission at the last meeting. Brent made a presentation and they voted to recommend approval of the proposed blighted and substandard area.
Correct. Rick Eller, 1440 Listener Road. Josh Fundred is with me today. Josh and Ryan Schwartz are the developers on this project. The blighted and substandard study, you all, I think, have a copy of that. That's an independent study that we have a separate consultant prepare that under Nebraska State Law 182103. There's 2 requirements before you can get TIF. One of them is you have to find that the ground is blighted. And there's a technical definition. We went through this. The other standard is substandard. So the keys on this particular study is it only relates to the piece of ground that Ryan and Josh owned. It doesn't encompass anything else. Obviously, the study came back and determined that this ground is blighted substandard, which is the first step in the TIF process. So I'm happy to go into that, but maybe I'll stop there to see if anybody had questions, generally speaking.
only question I have, it's not about the blight per se, but just wanted to double check from previous conversations about the drive-through lane.
Yep.
That's going to be left.
Correct.
They're gonna be granted a.
So part of our final plat analysis, I think, Julie, maybe one of your comments was, that's an encroachment. So we are giving an easement to them so that that can continue in perpetuity.
Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you.
I think that came. Okay.
Well, it came from Runza, but yes.
Ish, okay.
Any other questions? regards to the blight study? Okay. Thank you. Open it up for a public hearing at this time. Public hearing is closed. We have resolution number 2026-02 declaring certain areas of the city to be substandard and blighted area in need of redevelopment. We have a motion to approve.
Richard,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
And thank you, Mindy, for it's fun. It's
Yes.
fun. Take care. See
Thank you.
next time.
All right, item number 6, Ironman 70.3 Omaha Triathlon on June 7th, 2026. Let's get our presentation.
Hey, how I'm doing?
Good.
My name's Corey. I'm with World Triathlon Corporation and the Ironman 70.3 Omaha race that's coming on June 7th. This is something Ironman and the Omaha Sports Commission have been working on for more than a year. And I think they officially announced the race last August that it was coming. If you're not familiar with Ironman, it's a triathlon, which is swim, bike, and run. We swim 1.2 miles, and that will be swam in Lake Cunningham. Our bike ride is 56 miles, and that's probably most of the reason why I'm here. It starts from Lake Cunningham and takes State Street to 136, heads north to 136 or 138, heads north to Highway 36, and then it's going to go all the way down past the Forney Drive-In and back to State Street, same way it came in before we make our way into downtown Omaha and finish up at the Gallup building for the bike course. And then our run course is around the riverfront area, Riverfront Park, Miller's Landing, and at one point we cross over the Bob Carey Bridge and do a loop in that state on the other side of the river. So I think the big thing is for you guys is we having a closure of highway. Does anyone want to race? You could do it before going to Bennington Days. So the big thing is the closure of Highway 36 and how we're managing that. Our restart is at 7 a.m. We'll have an on-time start unless something like a weather issue happens, which can happen. We do have protocols set in place for weather delays. That should not impact our actual road closure times. How we do the triathlon is we're going to put about 2,200 athletes in the water at Lake Cunningham, and we'll feed about 3 athletes into the water every 5 seconds. So it'll take us about an hour to put all our athletes in the water. If we had a weather delay, maybe because of lightning or something like that, maybe it's a 15-minute to half an hour delay, we can speed up our timeline of how quick we get the athletes in the water so they all still get out of the water on time. Once we go past half an hour, we actually would cancel the swim and we would move to a time trial bike start where we would send 2 to 3 athletes out on the bike course every 5 seconds, removing the swim portion of the event. This allows us to keep on our timeline for our permits for the event. When it comes to Highway 36, we expect our first athlete to exit the water around about 7:24 a.m. in the morning. And that means we're going to see our first athlete turn onto Highway 6 at around about 7:45. We will then be going down and back. So from 7:45 till about 11:45, we will be on Highway 36. We work a lot with Douglas County Sheriff's Office and Omaha City PD to come up with that plan of how we're going to move, obviously, Douglas County out here. We've hired a traffic control company with locally with Resource Rental. They're helping us with all the barricades, etc., that are required for us to make those closures. And the PD has set streets along Highway 36 that we're going to see cars be able to be metered across between the bikes. Probably our heaviest period is going to be around about the 9 a.m. time. At 9 a.m., I expect to have athletes flowing in both directions on Highway 36. So that will become the hard part of the day with metering people across. But by 9:45, 10 o'clock, everyone will be past Bennington. And we'll now only have one-way athletes coming back. The great thing about the Slaughter Triathlon is it's not like a 5K race or a 10K race where you see a mass start and all of a sudden the road is just jammed and you can't move and you can't do anything. Because we stagger our swim start and we have 1.2 miles of swimming before we get on the bike, our bike course is pretty much single file, even though we have 2,200 athletes. So that gap between the athletes allows us to meet up people across 36. I did submit the application and also sign the agreement that you guys had sent over. I did bring a copy of it signed just in case you needed a wet signature. Some towns require a wet signature, and the check also for the permits for the road closure. Do you guys have any questions?
So,
You want to race?
no.
Do it as a relay.
Good.
One swim, one bike, one
I
run.
don't want to die early. You'll be utilizing some of our officers then, or if so,
I would imagine so, but that would be something that would be coordinated, I guess, through Douglas County Sheriff's Office. They would be handling that coordination.
Okay. You hear anything, Chief?
Yeah.
4, okay. I see in the agreement that you'll be covering some of the costs for that.
Correct. What you would do is just at the end, once you have your total, you would submit it to me. Mindy has my email. Mindy, I'll need to get you set up or get the city set up as a vendor with World Triathlon Corporation. I'll send you the information for that. And then once we get the invoice, it'll be processed and a check will be mailed to you.
What are we invoicing for?
Officer time.
Oh, okay. I guess I just assumed that the triathlon is paying them directly.
Like cash.
Yeah. They probably appreciate that. Okay.
Usually, like with Douglas County Sheriff's Office and City of Omaha PD, they've already given us their estimates, but we don't get the bill until the end of the event. So they would just submit their invoices to us, and then I would process them through Ironman's payment system or World Triathlon Corporation's payment system.
This is for Sunday, June 7th.
Yeah.
Be a busy weekend.
So how long is the bike ride?
56 miles.
Right.
And your period of time on Highway 36 will be from 7:45. We'll see our first athlete hit Highway 36, and our last athlete will be off Highway 36 by 11:45.
There'll be a detour that's Sunday, so we shouldn't have too much sanitation running. Bridge will still be open. Will there be a detour, or will it just be hurry up and play?
What we'll do is we'll just have, we'll walk on 156, Highway 36, get cars through.
A meter across. The hard part, not that that's easy. The hardest part is actually the roundabout down further. That's going to be the biggest challenges for us there. We're working on a plan where we'll actually make it a no passing zone for the cyclists, and we're going to merge all the cyclists onto the eastbound lanes of 36. So we'll flow two-way cyclists through that roundabout on one side of the roundabout. That way we can get cars closer to get them across. That's probably the most challenge because we can't have them like cut halfway through the roundabout and then wait again to go across again. So
Is there someone, or is there some means by which to notify the property owners that are along Highway 36?
yes,
Okay,
yeah, we'll be doing a mailer to those property owners.
okay.
Those property owners are going to be able to get out. Like Highway 36 is plenty wide enough for us to be able to see a car travel up the middle of it, you know, and manage their way between the rides. There's limited driveways along Highway 36. Probably my biggest challenge is actually Florence Boulevard. That's going to be a very fun day in the city.
Yep. Yeah. Do we have any other questions? Comments, concerns? Okay. We have a motion to approve the street closing and event permit application.
I think you could probably do all five of them.
All right.
at once.
All right. We have a motion to approve the street closing and event permit application agreement with World Triathlon Corporation. D, agreement with City of Omaha and Douglas County, and E, resolution 2026-03 regarding state highway closure and indemnification of the state of Nebraska.
So moved.
Second.
Richard,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hamilton.
Yes.
All right.
So I guess my other question for you guys is, as I sat here, I learned a lot about Saturday. And it's going to be a very busy day.
Yes.
One of the things we love to promote is to our athletes and their family that are visiting. Would you like me to promote coming to Bennington Days, or do you have too many people already on Saturday that you want people to stay away? Because the farmers market actually sounded really awesome. 115 vendors is pretty exciting stuff.
I'm not going to say no.
Not going to say no.
We'll figure out the parking afterwards, but
Sure. Okay. I'll run a promo video on social as we get closer to the race, because athletes are going to be out this way anyway, because they have to check their bikes in at Lake Cunningham on Saturday between like 9 and 5. So they're going to be out this way. So
well, we have 3 bars where they can carb up on all sorts of stuff.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
Andy,
you.
thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for reaching out to us and getting us through that. And that is the check for the room.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Court.
Have a great day.
Item number 7, MUD agreement to reconvey property consisting of the city water tower and adjoining water dome. What's this all about?
Well, when we turned our water system over to MUD in 2000, that agreement provided that they would take ownership of the water tower. But if they ever so chose, they could reconvey it back to us at no cost. They're no longer using the tower.
That's my understanding.
So they've decided that to reconvey it back to the city, and we have no say-so in it. So we have this little reconveyance agreement inside the packet.
So if a tornado hits it and tips it over onto the houses underneath it, it's the city.
It's the city, but I don't recall too many water towers tipping over, although I do know that
But
Springfield sold one of their water towers to the city of Gretna a long time ago. They actually took a helicopter and picked it up and we could correct that. So maybe we could sell that something.
That's a great idea.
Better make sure it's on the insurance, the liability
Yes,
insurance
I was gonna
list.
ask that.
Mhm.
Or we can start putting cell towers antennas on it.
The crown, all the lights,
Yeah.
Lincoln.
Okay. All right. Any questions about this? So Mindy's gonna check on insurance.
I'll just give it insured.
It'll take MED some time to get through their agreement on signing it.
It's not essentially ours. It's not essentially ours yet.
No,
Till they sign.
yeah, it'll take some time to, although they've staff approved it, the board has to officially.
Gotcha. Okay. You have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Richard,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
All right, item number 8, Bennington Road Bridge Approach Contract.
This is the longest I've had to sit at a council meeting in a long time, I'm trying to think. For those of you who are not aware, our low bidder, Brink Building, has requested to be released from their contract because they've had some staffing changes and they, in essence, don't have somebody to run the job that we had awarded them for the Bennington Bridge repair. I did reach out to Emmy Collins Contracting, who was the second low, to determine if they could, because they were still in their 60-day window where they have to honor the cost of their bid. But since we had awarded it, I wanted to make sure they still had a window in their construction schedule to be able to complete it. They have responded and said, yes, should the city need them to do the work and award the contract to them, they can complete the project. However, they would ask, we had a completion date of July 31st. They would ask that we do a change order to extend to August 7th for having the road and sidewalk open, and then allow them to do some of the finished work after that. As for those of you who don't have kids in school, school starts August 12th. So the road would still be open before school, which was the initial intent. Their bid for the project was $162,910. That is obviously over the amount that Brink bid. And we will talk about that, I believe, in the executive session, correct?
No, we'll talk about it now.
Okay, so they do have a bid bond that we will be able to recoup costs on, as well as they had already signed the contract and provided us payment and performance bonds. So Jeff and I put together a letter that we sent to Brink asking them to cover the cost difference between their bid and the low bid. We have not heard officially from Brink on that. What settlement, I guess, is that the appropriate word to release them from the contract? So if council is open to awarding the project to the second low bidder, Emmy Collins, I would ask that you subject that to successful negotiations in canceling the Brink contract, correct? That's what you and I kind of figured the wording of the motion could be. And it would still allow us to get this project done this summer and get that issue taken care of. If council is not comfortable with that, then our likely only other option is to write it out for another year, rebid it this fall for construction the following summer. But this is starting after Bennington Days. That was the first question from Emmy Collins is, well, hey, could we start shortly after Memorial Day? And I said, no. We've got Bennington Days, that's a parade route. No. So that's where we came up. I said, but we could probably extend it out a bit.
Okay.
August 7th.
Yeah, it's one week later. And that's making sure all the pavement and the sidewalk is in so kids can get to school. They may still have some work to do after that, but it wouldn't require full closure all the time of the road. There might be some lane closures or something if they're doing some finish grading or seeding or something, but it still have access for school and school buses.
A little bit tighter window there. So essentially our options are we roll the dice on that, hope that they stay on track with about a 1 week buffer. And potentially negotiate rink covering some of the cost difference. Or option 2 is we postpone it to next year.
Yep, and you rebid. I think we would still, I would assume our request is out to Brink for the same dollar amount. So if you rebid it to next year, whoever is low at that time could be more.
Right.
Than
So
they could be less, but
run into
that usually doesn't happen.
potential cost of going up.
That range last until then.
Yeah, we're just fixing the averages. It's the bump, they have settled a little bit, so if we needed, if we had to push it back, Lane would have some fun putting in some hot mix asphalt patch to fix so the bump's not so bumpy, maybe would be the best way to do it. But yeah, it's my recommendation. Obviously, Emmy Collins has done work for the city before very successfully. I don't have any concerns with them being able to complete it and get it open on time. Should you wish to award it.
What was the Brink bid?
The Brink bid was $146,575. So that price difference is $16,335. And the bid bond that they have in place is for just over 7,300, if I remember right. I didn't put that number in my, but we have a bond that covers that. We could also, should Brink come back and say, no, we're not writing you a check for anything, then Jeff and I will file a formal claim with the bonding company on this in some way, shape, or form, whether it's full amount, whether it's just the difference. But I guess I don't anticipate that from previous conversations I've had with Brink. They don't want to completely burn the bridges. I guess I didn't realize what I just said, so.
Okay.
Being a new company and trying to grow their business. And I know this was a tough decision for them, but not having somebody to run the job is not necessarily the best thing to have.
Yeah, so that's kind of the decision. Let it run a little bit closer to our deadline. Or we pocket it and push it to next year. I'm good either way. Even with me being a bit of a construction pessimist, that nothing ever stays on time, so.
What's the worst case scenario if it isn't done and they're still working on it?
Detours through Kempton Creek.
I mean,
Yeah, the detour would be through Kempton Creek, so it's not sending kids to the highway like when other detours have been in place in this area. They just go through Kempton Creek. Or depending on how they stage it, they may do half at a time to where there's one lane, so then they're flagging buses through.
And we will potentially be, working on phase 2.
Correct, but that shouldn't impact the street usage.
I mean,
Other than, we've got some on-street parking, but they'll mostly be down in the bottoms.
I am toward the project. Prices for the so it's the offset that we have to put with hanging on to it. So
I agree.
Okay.
Get it done.
we have a,
not list a
That's not the
motion,
motion,
but
okay.
you can most
We have
certainly
a-
make a motion.
motion to approve the Emmy Collins bid, subject to,
Subject to city attorney and city engineer's successful negotiation to cancel the Brink contract.
so moved.
Richard?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Item number 9, subdivision, sewer connection, maintenance, annexation agreements with SID 645 for the Ringwood Square subdivision.
So this is Ringwood Square. This is your first major commercial retail development in zoning jurisdiction. It's in the northwest corner of Ringwood Road and 156th Street. We've approved the plans or the plats for it. We don't normally bring these agreements to the mayor and council for formal approval. We haven't done that in the past for any subdivision. And the reasons for that is because you've seen it at least 3 or 4 times with the platting and the rezoning and whatnot. The subdivision agreement, and the sewer connection agreement, and the maintenance agreements are just standard requirements that Julie and I work on with the developer. Obviously, the mayor and the city clerk end up signing them, but the purpose of the subdivision agreement is it sets forth who is building what, how it's being paid for, what costs and fees are being paid, and then how the public improvements will be either carried as a general obligation for the SID or specially assessed against the property that's benefited from those improvements. The sewer connection agreement is a standard agreement requirement of the city of Omaha, since our sewer flows to them and is treated by them. The maintenance agreement is another kind of standard agreement for the city that requires the HOA to forever and ever own and maintain all outlots. And the purpose of that is so that when we annex, we don't become the owners of those, and we have little stamps of stormwater basins or little tiny parks spread all over heck and back. Probably the most important thing or unusual thing in this packet is we have an annexation agreement. And that was requested by the developer at the request of their financial bonding company, a fiscal agent. And I've seen it before in other communities when you have retail commercial developments, they may ask for that. It, in very general terms, says we may annex that area when certain criteria are met, but we're not required to. And the reason the fiscal agent asks for it is it helps them in marketing the bonds for this SID. We cannot do a annexation agreement like this, compel or bind a future mayor and council to annex it when certain circumstances are met. And the language in it is always may annex, may consider annexing, may in its sole and only judgment decide to annex. So it's kind of an unusual agreement, and I didn't want maybe an urban myth to be created out there that somehow we magically granted this new commercial development, retail development, gave them some annexation rights or imposed some annexation requirements on the city. So that's why I had this one put on the agenda for you to review and formally approve.
Appreciate that. Got any questions for Jeff?
Do we know which grocery store is going in there yet?
You've asked and they will not tell.
Yeah.
Top secret. Top secret. All right, we have a motion to approve.
So,
Lee,
yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Richford.
Yes.
Item 10, updated plan sheets for Newmeyer Farm Park.
Just wanted to provide you with copies of the final portions of the final plans, as well as a summary on our current schedule for that project. No action by you guys is needed tonight. I know Kevin has been visiting with the farmer. Our engineers doing this design think a grading contractor could start as early as July, but I know we had talked about leasing it to the farmer and getting you one more year of income, which would push the start date back to September.
But I talked to Scott and told him that we would let him know what the council decides
Yep.
tomorrow.
So with the start of July, with a potential July start date, they would sod yet this calendar year. which would mean you likely could play on it next spring, is what they're telling me. Now, this bid schedule is still subject to, the document is back at HUD right now. We're trying to get approval from our HUD representative to do our final publication that we have to have out for 14 days. That would, if we can get it out here in the next week, that would still allow us to start advertising May 7th and hit all of our dates. If that gets pushed back due to slow responses from HUD, a July start date doesn't matter anyway. I shouldn't say doesn't matter. It's probably less likely, just because we need time to turn around those contract documents. With an award on June 8th, mid-July start date is possible. With an award, if it gets pushed back to July, that gets a lot tighter. Contractors usually can't necessarily turn around. What my fields people are telling me is that there is some availability for your general grading contractors who would be the ones that would start in July. They have some work capacity before the field specialists have to come in, but it sounds like they are telling me that the field specialists have some time yet this year to do the work. Having the start in September would get everything graded, but it's likely it would not be sod until next April, which would mean you wouldn't be ready to have play on it till summer, early fall. So the April tournament by the soccer team, it wouldn't be ready for that. And we would still need to check on the 4 fields for that early to mid-April tournament. Make sure the sod's in good enough shape at that point of year that we want. A lot of kids run on it. But it would be ready definitely by May is what my field specialists tell me. So yeah, the question for this group is, and we obviously need to let the farmer know because he's about ready to plant. Do we want to not have it farmed this year, roll the dice and hope we could hit and get a July 20th start date? Since we had hoped to have heard from HUD by today, so I could give you some assurances on that. But we have not, and we sent our second email to them again today. Or allow the farmer to plant, and he talked about early beans, so it would be harvested in early early September. So we could do the grading start in September, get all that work done. I don't know enough about sod to know if it's good to lay sod and have it be dormant. I'm thinking we probably wait for April to lay it to where everything's live. But that would be up to the contractor as well, because he'd have to carry it to get. Then you can see the completion date would either be end of May or end of July, based on our current schedule, depending on when you would look to start. So thoughts of this council?
I'm of the opinion we go with the option that gives us the least amount of potential delays. The income from that farming of that small of an area is not that significant. Plus, farmer would still be able to farm our other area to the northwest. So, that's my opinion.
When Scott was in here the other day, he was a little anxious to get started because stuff was growing already and then break the soil and get planting. I don't know how much land is that would need to be taken care of.
It's a good chunk. But I mean, it's also when they do start grading, it's all gonna get turned over.
Yeah, I mean, you could throw down some temporary seed if you wanted to try to help control the weeds that will likely pop up if you have nothing being farmed. But there are weeds in it sometimes even from it. Right. The total area is acres, a couple acres, I think. The area we're not touching is where the future parking lot would go, but that's a small enough area that I don't know that it's worth him to haul his equipment over for. But you wanted to let him farm that, so that'd be everything east of the drainage way. He could still do that if that was of interest to him, but it's a pretty small area. But yes, as I say, if we don't have a farmer in there, then we can have the contractor start at any point once we get it bid and we get everything moved.
What happened this weekend? Was there a soccer tournament?
Yep, we did a official ribbon cutting
Yeah.
for that first field.
So the concession stand open and everything like that, so
Yep.
I'm leaning towards let's put some deals in there and bring some more money.
So, and then I did provide an opinion of cost as well in that with some notes on, hey, yeah, we know we're over budget. Don't freak out. We got some ideas on how we should bring it back into budget. Plus, we're hoping bids come in lower. That's probably the last stage in your packets. And if anybody is so bored that they want a whole set of plans emailed to them, let me know. I'm more than happy to send you every sheet in that set. But I sent you the key ones with the landscaping and the layouts and the parking.
Yeah,
This work is the part that's being funded off.
This is the Congressman Bacon grant, the 2.1 million
Yep.
total cost that we've got in hand. Now, there were some donations for trees and benches and things through the foundation. Some of that is shown on that estimate. That's that furniture and the trees that we will make sure that those get planted for those donors. I'm working with that group. Somebody has that list, find the list, and work with that. And then we also have some other thoughts on how we could supplement the landscaping tree budget as well. That's one of the easy ones to find other money. But if we needed to, we could reduce number, we've got some sidewalks and things where we've got parallel on each side. We could cut that back to one side, or there's different things we can do to bring it back in.
now I'm having conversations with Kevin on strategizing that, getting us back under budget.
All right, we will get it moving forward.
Thank you.
Under option 1. Thank you.
Do we want to vote on that? No, we're just.
They're providing me guidance.
Okay.
Library report.
Years of them.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah. Been the same old thing for a while now, as far as reporting. Lots of numbers on this, report. But I just want to point out, if you're interested in seeing some of the art, displayed by some of the children in our community, it's in the library as part of the District 2, Women's Club art contest. 19 of those went to their state contest, so those will be coming back for display in another couple weeks. But we're just really proud that we are able to work with the Women's Club on doing that. And so, also, I just wanted to point out, this is basically the draft of our summer reading brochure. It just represents all the work that goes on ahead of time and all the planning. So we have a lot of events going on, and a few really good adult ones as well. And then also we put out the 2025 numbers, which were the calendar year, but the library does a annual survey required by our accreditation through the state library. And so their deadline was pushed back a couple of months because they had issues with the company that does the compilation of the survey. But all the numbers are in, and so I just wanted to highlight the annual report and some of those major numbers that go of the actual fiscal year. So those numbers are a little different than the calendar year. Also, there's a lot of information that goes in the report. This is just a summary of some of the things that they ask us for the information. And so I did want to point out that on here, we don't have the use of the conference room numbers on there. So the conference room was used 219 times by outside groups. And the library did 391 programs on site. So that conference room, there's over 600 events that take place during the year. So just want to let you know how busy it gets and why the parking lot's always full during the times where we're not even open. There's gonna be, what do they call it, a violet, anyway, there's some violet, conference that's going on that, goes on every year, and it's really cool that they use our conference room that's coming up in another weekend or so. African violet, oh my God, you should sell those, anyway. It's amazing what people do to the conference, how they transform the conference room. But, and then every month, I'm just gonna share, our calendar events, so, lots of stuff going on, and the library board, looks forward to meeting again with Nancy Novak from LA Pointer, Architecture, and see what kind of proposal they have for us in terms of what they can help do as far as planning and also cost estimates for our extension or expansion into the bays. Speaking of that, there's potential that we will have the book sale in there this summer because to kind of have some more space and also take advantage of that time. So anyway, any questions? Also, and I'm able to do this work because I have a really good staff. We have a really good team that we put together over the years, and every year it's great, but we have just a good thing going, and I appreciate everybody that puts in the time and is part of it. So, and all our volunteers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Police reports.
Any questions?
A lot of kids out and about. There's darn electric
Jeez.
Scooters.
scooters.
We had to do many stops. Look.
Yes, we got a lot of stops. Made a lot of parents mad.
A lot of communities are dealing with those e-bikes, e-scooters, and they're not quite sure how to deal with them. They issue them citations for not having a driver's license or, but it's gonna irritate some parents who think kids shouldn't be kids.
The first contact is the parents come and get it. Second time, it's getting towed.
Yeah.
So.
Because we're just, for clarification, everybody that isn't aware, we're just going by what the county classifies them all.
Yeah. So we had a Zoom meeting with the Attorney General about 3 weeks ago. And anything, if it's an electric bicycle, the pedals have to move. If it doesn't move, then it's illegal. You can't have it on the city sidewalk or street. And same thing with the scooter. So it cannot exceed, I believe, 25 miles an hour. So yeah, a lot faster.
So if it does not have pedals, it cannot be on the street either, unless you're licensed.
Not on the city street. It can be on your own prep property.
Or sidewalk.
Or sidewalk.
It's considered a off-road vehicle. That's why it can't be on the street, right? Yeah.
Some golf carts.
That's approved by the city council. That's fine. UTVs.
Yeah.
And what age is the golf cart?
18, and you have to have a valid driver's license.
You know how many 10-year-olds I see driving and younger?
You need to keep
By
on the
themselves
trail
and
too.
no.
If they can only drive on the city street, not the sidewalk or
I'll
anything like
grab them
that.
out.
And the sidewalks.
Especially during the soccer tournament. People, well, the soccer tournament, they're going on
There's a lot of golf carts this weekend.
So electric
Reminder.
scooters are also included?
Yeah.
In that?
Yep. As long as it doesn't go above 25 miles an hour,
It's okay.
it's fine. But the ones that look like dirt bikes or mini bikes and stuff like that, absolutely not. So they have like electric bicycles that you can pedal.
Right.
That's completely fine, but it's the ones that all-terrain tires. So,
Have you been getting on it? Because I noticed it's been more quiet.
I have made a lot of parents mad.
So when they're zipping up my sidewalk, I'm having to be out there and say, hey, better get that home. 'cause you
Close
could
line.
be
Colin Drew.
Who's Nelson?
That is our SRO, Stacia.
Oh,
So
very
she-
good.
She has a golden retriever that she started to do therapy training. Wants to
Good.
tie the dog up nice.
Nice. I thought Nelson was.
Pretty soon on the whole team.
Hank's the dog. Hank's the dog. You know, Ducky to Nelson.
Thank you. Public Works report. Aside from my report, Derek, I made to have you guys just look at this. Derek's been working on the website. The first one's not in color, so it'd just be that blue. And then as you go, it's basically what the seal will be on the website. You showed it to my mother and Kevin, and they gave their approval. It's not like a yes or no vote. It's just you wanted your eyes on it. And if you like it, don't like it, any comments or concerns, basically. Yes. Yeah. It's fine. Me. He'll hear him. He'll go through the report.
It won't bother him. He just wants to know that, you know,
It's good to go
do you like
forward.
this or do you hate it? Yeah,
Little things we want to change.
because the website will be, I mean, that will be the main theme throughout the website, is that logo. And it will, and this little guy right here will turn into that.
Is there any historical reference to the fencing or?
So they tried, they sent pictures of the fencing downtown and everything. And this is the closest that they said that they could come.
Yeah, I think that was my only disappointment, was that I think this looks like our fencing. And I don't think that does, but, you know, that's my opinion.
They being JM. Yes.
You could just remove the bottom portion of the fencing. I think it would look more like a fence rather than
Like a gate.
down
They,
or square it off. I don't know.
are we able to send them a logo? Like if we create one? That I don't know. That'd be a question for Derek. He's the one doing all the communication with them, but he definitely can ask them.
One of the things is that our logo that we have does not fit most current needs. So that's why we're doing something new. So we could always take the one we have and get that upgraded or modify, like Mr. Lee said, or leave it as is.
If we really like the current one, you should be able to pop that in AI and shoot it over to JM and see if it works. So just a thought.
I'm not mad at it. It's fine. It just looks, like a fence.
Yeah. All right. We can talk to Derek about it. Other than that, I'll play with it. That work. Any questions about the actual public works report? So we got room, you said, in the budget for that new piece of equipment? Yes. Okay. Have you got that yet? No, I was just gonna.
Is that gonna be a multi-use machine or is it just?
It's just an aerator. We borrowed the school's aerovator. It's a little bit different. It vibrates and then instead of just poking one hole, that thing vibrates and makes it a little bit bigger. Derek said it's nice. It's really big though, so it's hard to get in certain areas of the park. And then two, he said with it vibrating, the last time we used it, like 6 of the pins broke off. So he's like, I don't want to break the school's equipment. So, okay. And then for the BAL stuff, have we done any work on that yet for renting that space? No. When we talked last, Kevin would kind of bring it to you guys as far as numbers wise, if you had any thoughts, comments, or concerns. As far as when I talked to them, their plan is to let Paul Banker, who does a lot of the field turf work in there, park his tractor, some other equipment in there that certain people complain about throughout the year. Gotcha. So the contract would be through BAL, and then BAL would basically be able to do with it what they want. But they kind of, we were coming to you guys for like, if you had a price estimate, comments or concerns on it. I don't have a dollar amount in mind by any means. Just more or less want to make sure we're able to do it legally and have a thing put together. So.
Maybe it's not just Google decides that you're wanting to lease out.
Find something. Yeah.
We can do that.
Nice job on the temporary fences.
Thank you. It's good. Weather didn't help us, but we got it up.
Is it tall enough? The short seems like about 3 foot and then tall.
I asked Mark Slabotsky and a couple of the other people on the soccer board if anything went over, and they said not that they know of. So, granted, we didn't have any high schoolers, but one high schooler's plan on it, they'll go the other direction. They'll go east-west rather than west-south. So, thanks, Lane. Office report. Nothing. Project tracker. This is the proper time for public comments on any topic or matter which is not on the agenda. Public comments is closed. And we're not going to go into our executive session, so we have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thanks, everybody.
Sir.
I didn't mind sitting there.
Yeah.
I did actually, but.
How many did you run?
Why did I? 7. Really?